Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight series. My name is Claudia Thompson and today I'm here with Andrew Mansfield, avid hiker and managing director of Harkwell Labels. Welcome to the show and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
And why don't you start by telling us how you and Harkwell became one?
I've got 14 years in self-adhesive labeling and about 10 years in digital flexible packaging. I was looking for a role as a business development manager. I've been a director in a number of different label companies. And Tim offered me a role as business development manager. So I was happy to take a step back and perhaps going back to my roots in visiting customers.
Fantastic. And Harkwell has been around for over 18 years and has some quite high, highbrow, I was going to say, no, but quite well-known customers and clients. But what would you say is the Harkwell secret to growth?
Harkwell's secret is being true to our customers, telling them the truth, being honest with them. If a design comes from a customer and, excuse the terminology, it's crap, then you have to tell the customer that it's not good and then you need to go back. It's not going to have the punch they expect. All too often we have designers designing what is a very small label on a Mac, which is like 3 foot square or a meter square. And then when they shrink it down, it doesn't have the impact the prospective client wanted. So we have to be aware of what the customer is looking for. And I'm a great believer in peripheral vision. If you're going into a supermarket to buy a Kit Kat and you're walking down the aisle, you want something that catches the eye. And we have to be guardians of that. As a print company, we have to be very serious about peripheral vision and having an impact in the market.
But putting your clients or your customers first is still one of the key things.
Customers and clients first, sitting with them, advising with them, whether it be night or day, being on hand to give guidance. Sometimes it's easier to design a label than it is to manufacture it. The same with flexible packaging. It's offering the clientele, the customer, or the new customer for that matter, really sound advice. And even to the point that you have to be strong enough sometimes to take a back seat and say, sorry, but this is not for us. It's either too big, it's too small, it's not going to give them the unit cost into the marketplace. We have to be honest with our customers. And I think that's what the majority of our customers like about us. We're very honest with them. We're very open with them. What we feel will work. That's a big USP for us.
And Harkwell is not just you. Harkwell is a whole team.
Yeah.
What would you say have been your biggest learnings as an employer since you started?
Biggest learning, I think, as an employer, that you have to look for your staff. When I took the role, when Tim asked me to take the role as managing director, one of the first things I could see that we had an aging staff. In fact, the shock was I had about 3 people retire just like that within hours of me taking the role. So I've gone on a mission to try and employ younger staff, and then to empower. I love the 2 words, empower and motivation. If we can empower and motivate younger staff, there is a future here for them. They are part of the journey. I think I get paid back again and again and again, and not be such a stick in the mud that younger people do have an ideology, and sometimes their ideals are better than mine, and to be open-minded and listen. So yeah.
And on the back of that, what qualities do you look for in new employees or in your existing employees as well?
I think with younger generation today, enthusiasm. If I've got an enthusiastic person who walks through that door, whether it be someone come for a job or whether it's someone comes as an apprentice, they're enthusiastic and they want a life in print, or they want a life in customer service, or they want a life in the studio, they want a life in flexible packaging. The enthusiasm, the will to learn, and you can't be that. You can't be that in a younger person. And that's why I'm an advocate of train, train, train. All I want to do is train younger people.
Fantastic. And yeah, I completely agree that, you know, training and helping them, empowering them to do even more than maybe just the job they applied for in the first place, but to show them and help them grow alongside the company.
Yes, at the end of the day, what I want is you get longevity from staff that feel they have a worth. Well, I've got an old principle. It's called the duvet theory. The duvet theory is if you want to throw back that duvet when it's pouring with rain outside or it's freezing cold because you want to go to work, you're doing something right. If you want to pull that duvet up over the top of your head and not go to work, then there's something massively wrong. So yeah, duvet principle.
If you had to start again from square one in business, what would you do differently?
Probably take advice that a Japanese company once taught me. Well, two Japanese companies once taught me. I used to do a lot of work with Sony and with Panasonic. And the Japanese way of doing it is research, plan, research, plan, research, plan. Do all of that first and don't jump in with 2 feet. It's going to take you a little while to get where you want to go. But as long as you've got the research and the planning in place, then you can't fail to succeed.
Big fan of planning myself. So yeah, I completely agree. I would sign that.
I hate it when there's no plan. Anything they'll hear me say here all the time. Where's the plan? This is an area where, as a company, you need to be, because you're not going to get too many shocks if you plan it out.
Well, it's that old saying again: failure to plan is planning to fail.
Yes.
There you go. And how do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
I don't. Most people would say I'll work 24/7 at work, because over the years it's become a passion of mine. It is my hobby. It is my business. It is my life, I suppose people would say. So, you know, I'm very, very boring if you take me to the pub and you start talking about labels. I'm very, very boring if you take me to the pub and start talking about flexible packaging. So yeah, I love the industry I'm in. I won't give up for the world. It's what I've grown into over the years. So work-life balance, yes, it's probably work, and there's probably no balance there.
So is your advice to just love what you do and make sure that work doesn't feel like work?
Yeah, I mean, you got to, how can I explain it? You've got to love what you do in any walk of life, in any industry you're in any business you have. You are going to have peaks and you are going to have troughs. You are going to have time where you want to punch the roof of the car and have the music on loud because you just got the biggest order going, and that's what you went there for, and you got it. And you're going to have times when you go into a thing and you've either lost the business or something's gone massively wrong, where the thing's failed on a press or whatever. And it's how you pick yourself up after that. No one died over a sticky label. No one died over a piece of flexible packaging. You know, that's the ultimate, you know. So you're not there, you know. Sit down, get yourself a cup of tea, think about it, move on.
Love that. British way. Sit down, have a cup of tea, think about it.
That's my favorite saying. I have a few sayings in here. I tend to be a person of sayings. And when we have something we need to discuss here, I shut the door, say right around the cup of tea meeting. Go and make the tea. And I don't mind making a cup of tea. It may be empty, but I don't mind making a cup of tea. making a cup of tea, and we sit and we chew about it. We discuss it, what we're going to do.
So they're not scary meetings.
No, 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 no. They can see me lose my rag now and again, where attention to detail, or someone's made a silly mistake without asking a question. And if they'd have asked the question, we'd have put it right. They've tried to do their best, but their best could have been their best if they'd have asked the question. It's those simple little things that sometimes wind me up. And invariably, do you know, it's not the people who work here. Invariably, it's our suppliers. That you have multinational suppliers out there that are big conglomerates, loads of money, and because of the size of us, think they can treat us like, like we don't deserve to be here. And that, for me, winds me up. I've worked for big companies and I've worked for small SMEs, and don't treat me badly, because then I will lose my place.
So they clearly don't take customer service as seriously as Harkwell does.
Exactly. There's times when, be customer focused. Tell the customer, or the job's coming out to you tonight. It's a day early, job's going to come out tonight. Sorry, the job's going to be late, but tell people a day early the job's going to be late. The job for Harrods was running short. We notified the customer it was running short. It's going to be here by that, because of the technical challenges we had. By doing that, that customer can then react to the information we've given them. If we don't give them the information, and for some subcontract packers and stuff like that, who bring in temporary staff to do the packing, the job is supposed to be there Tuesday at 3 o'clock, and Tuesday 3 o'clock comes and goes. Wednesday midday comes and goes. They've had to pay these contract packers for doing nothing. I'm expecting a bad phone call. The phone call I make to them is going to be bad. If I'd have done that the day before, they wouldn't have taken the contract packers. They would have been in a place. Yeah.
So things can go wrong, but let your customers know early so they can adapt. What do you think are some common misconceptions that people have about running a business?
Misconception in a business. I think a lot of it comes down to common sense. Use common sense, but don't think you're going to do something when really in your mind's mind you can't do it. Use common sense when you're doing it. If you're making a decision, and it's an important decision, what are the pros and cons? Just take that cup of tea moment, cup of coffee if you want it, strike a line down a piece of A4 paper, put the pros and cons on both sides, because you'll have a good mindset at the end of it. Don't just go running in, bashing down doors and stuff like that, because sure as heck, someone's going to come and bite you. What can go right? What can go wrong? If it starts to go down the wrong route, what's the contingency? What can you do to resolve the situation? Is it telling the customer? Is it doing something? We have, abilities in here to take it off of one press and put it on another. What we did the other week, it wasn't going very, very well. The first thing we did is we went and did some color proofing on another piece of kit to make sure, in this case, it was a green, to make sure we could get the green if we did it by a different way. So make sure you've got contingencies in place if you need them. Make sure you've done your homework to start off with, and make sure you use common sense. Because if you're using common sense, you can't go wrong. It's the people that don't use common sense that winds other suppliers' clients up.
That's very true. That wraps up the interview.
Okay.
How can people find out more about you? How can they get in touch?
I'm on LinkedIn. Harkwell.co.uk. We launched a brand new website yesterday.
Nice.
We changed the name from Harkwell Labels to Harkwell because we obviously do labels and flexible packaging now. Or they can get me on the mobile if they want to phone me.
We don't need to share your mobile number here, but yeah.
It's
But
not a big
perfect.
deal.
Another great example of staying innovative and going with the time and adapting when necessary.
The thing is, it's not surprising for me to have a glass of red wine in my hand on a Friday night, talking to people, walking up and down my living room with a glass of wine in my hand, giving them advice on labeling or flexible packaging. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last.
That sounds amazing. Let's go to the pub one night.
That's it. Yeah. Let's go talk
Right.
about this.
Thank you so much for your time today, Andrew.
No
It's been an
worries.
absolute pleasure.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Take care.